Welcome along and welcome back to Attingham Park. We are going to be doing a few bits and pieces around the farm today to get it ready for next year. We have a bit of a cash deficit still at the moment. We're minus 3,018, but fortunately we do not need these barns here, and we can get these demolished and sold and moved out of the way. So let's start today with that. Give ourselves a little bit extra cash. So where are we? Into here, into construction, and we're looking to demolish this building here. So we'll get only 4,947 for that. Okay, and this shed here, well, we'll get 494. Now, I was hoping for a little bit more cash than that for those. But to be perfectly honest, I'm glad we've got what we did. It is going to mean we're a little bit short of cash, but I want to sort a couple of jobs. So we are going to pop over here, and we're going to go first and clear up a big error we made last time. And that is basically the problem we had with field 12. We need to go and get rid of the grass area we did. We're not going to split it like that quite yet. And we might just run some... Well, we might just run some grass down the middles with the cedar come the new year and do it that way. But whichever way I do it at the moment, I am going to have to get rid of the... strip we put in last time that cost us a lot of money, and so we're spending money to clear up mistakes today, and that's going to be a little bit of where we're going with today's video. So we are fast approaching December. When we get up to the shop, actually, I will go through exactly what that means. It initially means, and the initial startup for that is that is when we're going to get a lot of money in. We've got a lot of stuff that we can sell come December, and we're probably going to make about 100,000. Now, the upside to that is that it's going to mean we can get a lot of work done. We're going to be able to get a seeder with some seeds. We're going to be able to shape the land a little bit, and we're going to be able to get everything scanned. The trouble we have at the moment is that I'm going to come into here and I want to borrow a plough. What have we got in our options? So 185. Oh, really? Oh, hang on. No, the server will do it. Right. 15,000, so we can't afford it. However, we should be able to afford a lease for it. Yep. Okay. Yes, so as I was saying, what we are going to find ourselves needing to do is sort our fields and everything out. I forgot this was on the back of here. That is not a problem because we want to get rid of it. There we go. We did have an overnight cost of leasing that, but somebody pointed something out in the comments for the last video that if we're doing a truly 80s 90s setup, there are probably restrictions we want to be putting on how we're using precision farming. First of these is nothing that uses GPS, which is exactly what that is. So we're going to return that, and we will no longer we'll no longer be using anything that uses GPS. So select that and return it. So no more use of the Isaria. We will pay an agronomist to come and scan our fields instead. It'll be a little bit more expensive, but it will make sense. Other things we will disable are things like the... we won't be able to use spot sprayers, so no use of spot sprayers, no use of automatic application rates either. We will have to manually adjust the application rate, apply a little bit and see how that goes on the field, so that will be fun. And basically it's going to make our whole use of precision farming a little less precise, as it was back in the 80s and 90s, where you would get an agronomist coming in and doing soil samples for your fields and doing those themselves, and then advising you on what sort of levels of fertilizer and things like that to use on your field. So yeah, we're going for that realistic little bit of throwback to that, which I think is quite cool. I think that is a great suggestion, and I absolutely love it.
Before we get started on the farm, this video is brought to you in partnership with the awesome people at Apex Gaming PCs. I've teamed up with Apex Gaming PCs to create my own custom line of PCs suitable for everybody from beginner farmers to virtual farming experts. Apex Gaming PCs are offering up to $250 off your next purchase, just by using my link in the description below. So go check them out.
Now, my plans for this field are very much that we are going to separate it by bits across the field. I don't know whether we will actually do it this way. And is that going to go up to the, that's going to go up to the edge. Let's turn on that. There we are. So I don't know whether we're going to put large bits of landscaped grass through the middle, or what I might do instead is just split it into 3 fields. So we'll plant up to a certain point and maybe try and define that using courseplay possibly, and then possibly maybe put a thin strip of grass, something that costs a lot less money than this did, because this cost a huge amount of money very quickly, is actually very wide, and is stuff I don't want to be doing. Have to clear this up. So still planning to divide this into 3, but again, not looking to do it till after December. And you might have gathered by the fact that A, we've got no money at the moment, and B, we are doing this and talking a lot about what we're going to do after December, that we are looking to sell stuff off first before we move the farm forward. And this is the important bit. Oh, that's opening and closing that. I want that. So yes, I have chosen which crops I want to plant on here. We're going to do some spring barley. So whereas we were going to do wheat before, we're going to do spring barley now. We are going to do probably canola, I think, and then maize. And I think those 3 together should allow us to put together pig feed. And then the last thing I'm looking to do initially is to get a garden done and get some potatoes in and feed the pigs from the potatoes in those gardens. But then I want to also put in some sugar beet as we get bigger, because as I was saying before, I think this tractor will nicely run a sugar beet harvester, and our 7810 should very nicely run the trailer for that. So yeah, we're kind of set up pretty well on this farm to do sugar beet if we can get our hands on a decent sugar beet harvester. So yeah, it's all good. I am very happy with where we are at the moment, and once we clear this out, we can start looking at where we're going to go next today. Now, somebody did point out an interesting conundrum to me recently, and it's just come back to me while I've been ploughing this and clearing up this mess. Is that pig food is not overly expensive. You can see in here that the pig food for 1,000 litres is £900. Now, interestingly, for £900, we can actually sell most of our crops for more than that. The sorghum, which is the crop we have the most, when that hits its top price in January, it's over £900. So we would make £43 for every 1,000 litres if we sold all the sorghum and then bought pig food with that money, which is massively interesting. But the wheat tops out at 732, so we would lose money if we sold wheat to buy pig food. And the soybeans we have tops out at a massive 2,226, so a huge amount above the pig food. I'm kind of going, right, I need to work out what is the best way for me to make money. I think if we sell all of this crop and buy pig food, we will actually overall be up. And that's the interesting thing about it. That sorghum especially, soybeans especially, which are so massively higher than the price of the pig food, is just makes a massive amount of sense. So the choices we've got really are whether we go and grow crops that are cheaper for sale, and we end up then using those for pig food so that we make money on them, and possibly because they may have higher yields, we end up using less overall to feed them than we basically exchange for pig food, or whether we get ones that pay us higher amounts of money but may not yield quite so much. I think there's a really big question here as to which way is worth more money to do it. The other thing we could do is get some chickens and use that on the wheat, or use the wheat for that, because we are guaranteed with the wheat for it to be cheaper for us to feed that to the chickens than it will be for us to buy chicken feed, which is $1,400 per bag, and therefore that's a great way for us to make extra money from our chickens, because we know we can make more from the eggs. So yeah, let me know in the comments, what do you think? We're a little way away from selling things at the moment. It'd be interesting to see the calculations for how much wheat we could possibly get, for example, off this field, and whether it's worth going for higher yielding lower value crops or lower yielding higher value crops when comparing them to either feeding them as pig food or using them to buy pig food. So what we need to do now, while we've got this plough, is check which fields might need to be ploughed. And actually, it's our old favorite, Field 1, which we spent so much time last video getting that prepared and done. That needs ploughing, and we're gonna have to go up there, I think, with this tractor and get that done. We might as well. We've got the plough, we are able to use it, and you know, that will be most useful for us. The one thing I am wondering about, and we won't know until we can get an agronomist on here and get these fields scanned, is how much we have in the way of lime to get spread, whether we need to raise the pH of some of these fields. I have a feeling that field 6, despite the fact that it's been limed, does need to have a bit of lime put on it and its pH raised. So there's that as well. And of course, the other thing we got coming up is pumps and hoses. Not that we actually have any slurry to do with at the moment, but eventually that should save us a bit of cash by getting the pig started with that. Let's come into here, and we're gonna head up this side. Yeah, it's not gonna be much other than sort of ploughing our fields today, I think. Ploughing this much of a field, though, we are going to have to get a stone picker in here as well. Yeah, I have turned create fields off, so now we should be pretty good as far as being able to go up the side here. But you can see already we've got some fairly large stones being dragged up by this. And this isn't going to do our environmental score on this field much good. But it is something that we will actually end up making more money by ploughing it this once and getting the ploughing state sorted than we'll lose in the environmental score. We've got quite a heavy stone presence with doing this job on here, and as I said, I think given the size of the stones this is dragging up, we are definitely gonna have to get a de-stoner on here. It's gonna cost us a little bit because we'll have to hire one, and again, it'll be one of those jobs that gets done before the new year, or as part of what we're doing in the new year. So probably a January, February time job. We have, yeah, it's a little bit of an expense we don't need, but it will cause issue and damage to our equipment, especially the it being larger stones. If it was medium stones and was a little bit more spread out, I might be less worried about it and about the effects it'll have. Small stones we could just deal with. We'd be able to just get them into rolled back into the ground very easily. But yeah, these large stones are going to prevent us with a problem, or present us with a problem, and we need to deal with that. So that is going to be something, as soon as we get a bit of cash in, we are absolutely going to have to deal with. When I originally planned this video, I had expected to actually make more from the 2 barns that we sold at the beginning. I thought very much that I was going to get enough cash to maybe get the seeder, maybe allow us to get the agronomist on some of these fields and get them scanned and get ourselves set up, and possibly even get to the point where we were planting the wheat today. I'm not actually that disappointed. We are getting a job done. We are putting the county to really good use, and we are going to improve the output and the yield from this field. There's no two ways about it. This field now will be better for what we are doing at the moment. It is just slightly strange that this has not gone to plan at all. I am yeah, I'm doing something now that I did not expect to be doing. I knew I was going to get the plough here for sorting out the problem that we created in field 12 last time, yeah, we are now sorting out a problem that I wasn't expecting to fix here in field 1, and we're running not too badly for time. It's 11 in the morning. We are running at 5 times because we got less daylight in November, so I wanted to make sure we had enough time to get everything done. But yeah, looks like we're going to have plenty because we are probably about a third of the way through this field. So despite the slightly shaky start today, we are now running a lot better than we were. So one trick I've found with ploughing, which is a trick that actually is very true to real life, is if you get your front wheel in the previous furrow and line yourself up like this, you'll find that for the most part the tractor tends to stay in that furrow and in that first rut. It's quite amazing. I'm slightly out of it at the moment because the furrow didn't exist the whole way down it, but as long as you get a nice straight run the previous one, you should then have minimal trouble getting turned, stay on your line when it comes to doing the next row. It makes it very much easier to manage, and so yeah, we're going to line ourselves up here. We've got a little bit more of an overlap because of what happened at the end here, but down we go. We make sure that we are into alignment, so we're at 180 degrees, and away we go. And it pretty much, yeah, you can see it staying in there. The thing that actually throws it out, I find most of the time, is the stones. And it is the big problem of the stones. It pulls you out of the rut, it moves your wheels about a little bit, and means you have to make more adjustments. If you are just sitting in the rut, you tend to be fine. And you tend to get a nice straight run down the field. In fact, at the moment, I don't have my hands on the wheels at all. I'm just occasionally making a small adjustment just to correct things and make sure we stay on the right track. Something that you guys did give me some fairly positive feedback about last time was the little Ford 3000 that I was talking about possibly getting on here. A lot of love for that. A lot of people liked it very much and said that I probably should get it. And I'm certainly thinking initially, while money is tight, it might be a really good idea to get that and just keep it for a little while. One thing that did come up, and some people had said that they'd encountered when they'd used that mod, was that it has trouble taking a front loader. And yes, I have heard that, and very much when I went to download it and when I found it, there was a note there not to use a standard front loader with it. And they did also give a way of actually getting a front loader on it. So if we pop into here, you'll see we've got this mini agriculture equipment pack. Now I found this on LS Farming, and this has lots of variations of standard in-game equipment. Things like the Landini, that it adds on a front loader console, which I think is a very useful thing on these little tractors. And it's a little Feurer front loader, and that also comes in this pack. So yeah, this is the XB100. It's slightly smaller than the others. It's meant for a small tractor, and this one here that's available in this pack will work with that little with this tractor here that we had a look at last time. So yeah, if you want to use this, and yeah, I quite like this little tractor, then you can very easily do it with that. Actually, that does not have a number plate on it if I go with that cab. So yeah, I might go with this. With this 36 isn't really enough. So yeah, we'll probably look at the 3000 European setup with a front loader attacher and all that setup. So yeah, 6,000 odd pounds will be perfect for when we've got a little bit of money in and to keep our price down at the moment. And then we can maybe get the Zebra or upgrade to something else a little bit later on when we've got a bit more money. But I think certainly going into our first full year, that will be a really useful little tractor. Almost coming to the end of the bigger part of the field with sort of the longer edge on it. That means I'm going to go and do the headland along the top here next and finish that off. And then we've just got that extra area, or that area along the end there to do. It is going to fill this right in, so we're going to have to drive back down this way, but that's not a huge problem. But look at that. That is great. I'm very pleased to do that. And we're making good time as well. We are absolutely making fantastic time with this. It is only 2 in the afternoon. We're looking at getting it done by about 5 p.m. This whole field, which will mean that then this will give us the maximum we can yield wise because of this, which is important on this field That's because this is our best soil field on the farm. We've not had it properly scanned yet and done yet, but it is definitely the best field we have on the farm, because it's basically listing it as a 125% on the yield, or a bonus on the yield, because it appears to be a 100% loam field. So we don't need to worry too much about that aspect. We do need to get it scanned in order to get a rough estimate of what our application rate should be. And as I was saying earlier in the video, we are looking to manually do the application rate to try and keep things a little bit more period specific. The kind of time when you didn't have computers mounted in your tractors to A, tell you where to go, and B, give you a really good readout of exactly to the centimeter where you should be putting what on what crop, what on what field. So yeah, we're gonna get a little bit more realistic than that. We won't save a massive amount, and we hopefully should still get a good yield off it, but it'll all be done by eye and be sort of an average across the field, which is going to cost us more money overall, but I think it'll be more realistic, which is why I really love that idea. This headland has gone in here nicely, so we're looking at 3 passes for the headlands on this field, with how much space we've left ourselves. All in all, though, I'm fairly happy with that. That's good. And we want to head back down to the other end and get that all, well, get the rest of the field done. We got another half of this side of headland to do on the short bit of the field, and of course the headland the whole way across the top. Let's just fill this little square in here, and then we can head back down here and get the rest of the field done. We're once again reaching the edge of the field, and after 5 odd hours in this tractor, I'm really liking it. It is absolutely perfect for the jobs we're using it on Attingham for, and works out well. The one thing I will say, and that I still dislike about it, is the turning this circle. The turning circle is just horrendous still. It does not turn very well. That is because of the large tires on the front. It is very realistic from that point of view. They are, because they're so big, they do limit the turning circle of this tractor. It's not a horrendous thing. I think I'm making a little bit more of it than I actually mean to. What it is just means that it takes a little bit longer to turn at the ends, and you end up having to do a lot more back and forth maneuvering in order to get into position. Otherwise, it's yeah, it's perfect for the kind of field work we're doing with it, and we're using a lot more at the moment than our 7810. But when we get into doing the seeding and everything in the new year, we're going to have this doing a lot of the ground preparation work. So the stuff we've had it doing already, the getting the power harrowing of our other fields will all be done with this, and then we'll get the 7810 behind, just going through and doing the seeding behind it. So we will be using both our tractors come the new year. It's just at the moment we only have one job to do on the farm, and that is this. We need to get these fields, or we need to get this field prepared. Looks like, as I said earlier, we're going to get through all of this field today, get everything prepared and ready, clear off the fact that this field needs to be ploughed, And yeah, then we might still have to throw some lime on this. That's very possible. But what I might do is throw the lime on before we come and pick the stones. And that way, when the stone picker converts it, it'll move the ground a bit and allow us to get everything sorted and the lime pushed into the ground a little bit before we go and get some seeds in it. All in all, though, we are doing the last strip up this side, and then I'm going to get the headlands done. Final row to plough to finish off this field and finish off this headland, and then we are done for the day. And not a moment too soon. It's 23 minutes past 4 in the afternoon. The sun is setting a little bit, but it's all good. That has got that done, and yeah, look at the state of our tractor. I think we might get this back down to the farm and get this washed, and then we can get this plough returned, because we have no further use for it. And in all honesty, I don't think we have much more to do on the farm this year. I think we probably need to we need to get some money in. I think it's going to be a case that we go and get our produce sold. We'll move forward to January, I think, get some money in and go from there. As I said earlier, let me know what you think to the idea of selling produce and buying the pig food rather than just feeding it straight to the pigs. I think for most of the crops we have, it's actually better for us to sell it. I think going forwards, it's going to be something that we need to look at and compare yields and things like that, because it may be much more worth it for us to go and get the go for a higher yielding but lower valued crop, and we might end up making more money that way than doing a lower yielding but higher value crop and going that way instead. This though is all in all a good piece of progress today. So as I take this back to the shop, all that remains is for me to say
thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, drop us a comment, and give it a share. Special thanks to all my patrons and channel members. Your support is invaluable in making these videos and helping the channel to grow. For more from Virtual Farmer, check out the links below, follow on Twitch to watch live, and for more videos, subscribe and ring that bell. I will see you next time. Goodbye.